I tell y'all what's on my mind?
Are the only one.
Can I get a couple of things off my chest?
You turn my name today. Lord, I just came to say, silly that you are the only one. Wise up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son as your kinfolk. William Jewell, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap. How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn all the notifications on so you can get all the new content when I post it. You know I'm doing the clips now. And I'm just trying to stay consistent. I'm just trying to stay on it the best I can. Because it's a lot to talk about, right? A lot of new music coming out, a lot of new singles that I'm liking, from Dirk, from Ab Soul. Didn't get to hear the Corday, didn't get to hear the Benny the Butcher 38 special. But just those two that I did hear, I was really liking. And I'm excited for Dirk's new album. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm excited for what he has in store. I just saw him post a new clip on X of an unreleased song. So I'm hoping that's on the album too, because I really was feeling it. So, I mean, I really want to see what Dirk is going to be able to do. And when I think about Rod Wave, I think about Dirk kind of in that lane too, as far as that pain music, as far as kind of that emo rap. But then he can give you that drill, he can give you that up tempo, you know what I'm saying, that energy that only he can do. Because drill rap has kind of died down a little bit. But when Dirk does it, he does it to perfection. He does it well. He does it like no one else. So, I got to stick a little bias out there for my guy Dirk. And another guy that Dirk did a feature with and won a Grammy with is j.cole, right? We got to transition into that, right? The Port Antonio. They say that's a place in Jamaica. The Port Antonio. So I don't know if he wrote this here or he was just like, in that tranquil state, in that relaxed state, and really just let his mind be free. And sometimes when your mind is free, it doesn't have that structure, that it needs. It doesn't have that, know-how or that awareness that it needs to have, because I hear a lot of people giving j.cole credit for being a smart artist, a smart guy. And I believed how he released this song was also smart as well. But the content of the song is what I don't agree with, right? And before I tell y'all why I don't agree with that, let's just talk about the song. Let's just talk about the release. It was released Wednesday night. I wish I could have got on here and gave y'all my review, gave y'all my reaction. But, we here now, right? And I'm just thinking about the feature he did with a plate of collard greens and he did with Daylight. I'm just thinking about the feature that he did with T Grizzly, Blow for Blow. And I'm thinking that these features were released pretty much a week after each other. Daylight, he released it on Wednesday. Then the Blow for Blow feature came out that weekend. Then this Wednesday, we have, Port Antonio. So at the same time, we got to think about the momentum. We got to think about the high that he's on. We got to think about what he's doing as far as trying to gain some traction, as far as trying to get in the good graces of the public, because a lot of people were blown away from these features and a lot of people were forgetting about Cole's fiasco in the battle, in the beef, in the remnants of the big three. A lot of people forgot about it, but I didn't forget. And I heard that plate of collard greens and I was like, damn, this is verse of the year. Y'all heard me say that probably 2 or 3 times on here. I heard Blow for Blow. I spoke about that verse last week. I liked it, but I didn't love it because I feel like Cole, he's not great when it comes to up-tempo things. But the more I heard that verse, the more I kind of understood how he slid on it. But still, it just wasn't my favorite because of the choice of production blended in with his sound and his aura. That's probably kind of what threw me off. But he follows that up with Port Antonio, right? Elite level rapping, high level rapping, giving you all the above, the different flows, the different cadences, the lyricism, right? The metaphors, the double entendres, as some people would say. He just gave us a little bit of everything, the syllables rhyming together, the different pockets that he kind of weaved in and out. And a lot of rappers are saying, a lot of former rappers are saying this is elite level rapping. Joe Budden said this is elite level rapping. I like what J. Cole did. He rapped like a rapper's rapper, right? I like what he did. But some of the things he said, I just can't agree with. I can't turn a blind eye to the contradiction. And that first verse, it was marvelous. That first verse when he talked about his melanin being mocked, when he talked about his mother combining salaries with his stepdad and moving out of the hood and his confidence was low. I think that first verse was superb. When he talked about young Jermaine, right? I think it was more nostalgic. I think it was more relatable. I think this is the J. Cole that really gets me out of my seat and makes me want to clap my hands. But as we got into that second verse, I started to sit back down. Right, I started to sit back down in my chair because the performance he was putting on, I could tell it wasn't genuine. Right, and a lot of people DJ head, right? Because I gotta tell y'all these podcasts I've been watching, these people that are giving their takes, their reactions to this song, they feel like J. Cole is being sincere. They feel like he's really meaning what he says, but although he's being sincere, it's not coming off sincere to me, because we just talked about how smart he was to release this at the time that he's getting back in the good graces. He released this on purpose, to address this on purpose, because he just wanted to see what the fans was going to think, how the fans was going to react, and see if he still had that clout, if he still had that type of power, if he still had the juice. And I think he was able to provide the juice, but nobody wanted to drink the juice. People was wanting a different beverage when it got to that second verse. And I wouldn't have lost the battle. I would have lost a friend. That was the first part that really made me look a little bit different. Because, first of all, who are you to say you wouldn't have lost the battle? Right? J. Cole, we've not seen you battle with anyone. We've seen you do subliminals. We've seen you call some people out, but we haven't seen you really truly go to battle. We haven't really seen you in them trenches. We haven't really seen you already. And the last time we saw you, like you was about to strap on your combat boots, like you was about to tuck your gun, you tucked your tail and you ran away. Because they said Schoolboy Q told you this is going to be personal. You might not want to get in it. Right? In the same way you listen to him telling you this is something you might not want to do, you listen to the people. You listen to your friends to get into this mix. Right? And we talking about the internet. They're saying that the internet has persuaded J. Cole to feel like he had to release this track, like he had to do it. But he is not learning from Kendrick. He's not learning that silence is the best weapon when it comes to these type of things. You know what I'm saying? Not the social media antic Drake's doing, not releasing the verses or the music and talking about things that you don't have to, not releasing music and trying to take it back like you did with 7-minute drill. The silence is your best weapon. right? And if you were to release this song before 7 Minute Drill, if you were to release this song as a way of saying, hey, Kendrick, Drake, I don't want to be in this battle. I love y'all both, and I still consider myself top tier, then I think the fan base and I think hip hop would have accepted that and let you go on about your merry way. But since you didn't and you decided to engage, then you took your tail and ran. And now you're saying, name a nigga out there rapping this incredibly. What? Name somebody rapping better than you? When you had the chance to prove that you were the best rapper and you tucked your tail? And you turned away. I know you wanted your peace. I know you wanted your tranquility. But that's the choice. That's the torn options that you had to choose from. Choose the crown. Choose the title. Choose being the best. Cementing your career. Cementing your legacy. I understand the thirst for being first made them boats swing. Bro, you've been trying to say you were number one this whole time. And then you talking about you understand the thirst? So that means you were dehydrated. It's just so much contradicting in this verse. And that's why I don't like it. But j.cole, he's smart. Right? He's smart. He's tactical. He understands the structure. He understands these type of things. That's why he's gotten this far in his career. But why is he making these moves? I don't get it. I don't understand it. So yes, if you're a Cole fan, if you just a fan of rapping, I know you're gonna like this song, right? You're gonna like this song because it's great rapping. And if you're on that side of Cole and where you felt like he would have won if he really wanted to, then I get it, right? We can't argue that point. But if you're a Kendrick fan, right, you have to feel like he gave Kendrick some backhanded compliments. I would have won the battle, but I would have lost a friend. No. He said, if that means I gotta dig up dirt and pay the whole team of algorithm bot niggas just to sway the whole thing on social media competing for your favorable memes. He said, and before that, he said Jermaine is no king. What has Kendrick been called his whole career? King Kendrick. So for Cole to say he's no king and then follow up with that verse when there's been accusations about Kendrick, and it's really a narrative that was derived from DJ Academics. Because when we listen to the Rob Markman, right? I listen to all these guys. When we listen to the Rob Markman take, he says that it's very evident when he posts things that Drake has bots all on X, that he has bots on social media. Even in the Joe Budden podcast, he was saying Kendrick would have to use bots to compete against other bots. That's the game that Drake plays. But we know Not Like Us is a real hit. We know Not Like Us has really done the numbers. So although you tried to discredit his success by giving us this hit with the bot rumors, bringing somebody on your podcast onto your show and trying to make these type of false claims, and Spotify shot him down as well. So it's just kind of crazy to me. Like, you want to use this narrative. Like, we know you listening to the internet. You want to use this narrative. And it's just so backhanded to me. So I know Kendrick's gonna feel away, bro, because he let you slide. He took it light on you. The three goats left, I see two of them kissing and hugging on stage. Yeah, Cole and Aubrey know the crown is heavy. I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. Like, he took it light on you. I got my chin out. Take your best swing. He took it light on you. And you still on this backhanded shit. You still on this bullshit. Like, bro, you didn't have to address this. You got to accept things for how things are. And I get it. You wanted to get that out there. You wanted to get it out there. Like, you wanted to address this, and it makes sense that you address this. You might have wanted to say whatever your piece was, just like Drake did in the Heart Part 6, just like Kendrick did in Watch the Party Die. I feel like this is Cole's finishing touches to the aftermath of the beef in Port Antonio. And when we break down Kendrick Watch the Party Die, right, and then we break down the Heart Part 6, which was Drake seeming to bow out, and we break down this Port Antonio, which is Cole pretty much kind of contradicting himself and trying to hold himself up into this platform of self-righteousness, like he was above all this when he initially participated in it. He decided to change his mind, and he didn't go about competing. So this is not the Heart Part 6. It's not worse. It's great rapping. So the great rapping, I feel like it covers up the message. It covers up the flaws. It covers up the faults that you created in your verse. And we haven't even got to the Drake part. I'm not ashamed to say you done a lot for me, my nigga. Like, I get it, y'all friends. And I understand you wanted to let the people know you're not picking sides. But when it come down to it, actions are louder than words. Right? And what you've done at this point in time, you've put yourself in a predicament, right, to where you've given Kendrick backhanded compliments on this song, and now you're trying to give Drake motivation on this same song. And you apologize to Kendrick, but giving him these backhanded compliments, doesn't it, you know what I'm saying, violate that apology? Doesn't it take that apology back? Because now you're saying you would have won. Now you're saying he only won because of the bots, right? And you were thirsty to be first. Kendrick took 5 years off. You was rapping. You was doing features this whole time. Who was the one that was thirsty? Who's the one that was considered number 3? You said that. You said that you was considered number 3. Drake the one that told you, hell no, you not number 3. He did that. He did a song to one of Drake's songs. He did a freestyle. I forgot. It's Heaven Something. And he was talking about being number 3, being labeled number 3. And Drake was telling him that hell no, he not number 3. Like, I see 3 goats left. I see 2 of them kissing, hugging on stage. These niggas clicking up. Like, it's just so much contradicting to me. Like, I like Cole. He's a great rapper. But he's saying, name somebody that's rapping this incredibly. Right? And now I'm finally free. You're finally free of being in the big 3, but you still want to be known as a great rapper. And if you want to be known as a great rapper, wouldn't you want to be known as the greatest? Because before all this came down, you said you were the greatest. You said you were the best. So now all of a sudden it changed. Right? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. The backhanded compliments, it makes no sense to me because you're so cerebral. You're so tactical about how you're releasing, about how you're moving, and you make this mistake. And for the Cole fans, I understand what it was for the Cole fans, but shit, for people that ain't got that wool over their eyes, for people that seeing that shit for what it was, it was, it was just cringe worthy. I think that's the best word to describe that second part of the second verse. So, I mean, really, that's kind of like all my thoughts on that. Port Antonio. So I gave y'all that spiel. Right. Hopefully I didn't talk too much. And then we go into the Glorilla Glorious. Right. We got to talk about Big Glow. Right. And when we think about these women tracks, these women songs, these women albums, one thing that always stands out is the production. Right. One thing when we looked about Megan's album, when we looked at Lotto's album, like those women, when we looked at JT's album, those women, one thing I've said about those women, they've always released music that had great production behind it. So even if their rapping wasn't top tier, even if their flows, even if their cadence wasn't all that memorable, even if their substance wasn't there, right, they always had the production to help carry them. And I don't believe the production helped carry Glow. I think it helped intensify the message, intensify the point that she was getting across. But it did her a favor. It did complement her style, right? And she gave us different flows, right? She gave us a little bit of everything. Stop playing, right? She went to that Wipe Me Down sample, right? She gave us a lot of things that, she showed her versatility. And I like the Meg feature. I feel like her and Meg, how I look. Like, I feel like her and Meg don't miss. But that Kirk Franklin song was not needed, like, because it just like two different contradicting sounds to me. I feel like that sound, the trap and then straight to the gospel, I just feel like it kind of clashes. So, I mean, it was a good try in which I like the risk taking, but for me, that was a no. I didn't really appreciate that song, if that makes sense. I didn't like it like that. So, I mean, there were definitely some skips, but I feel like it was a good album. I see some people on my Facebook timeline saying this is a classic. And I like that people are excited for Glorilla because I'm excited for her. I'm excited for her future as well. But one thing that, caught my attention was she was a little bit offbeat. Right? She was a little bit offbeat, So although the flows and cadence switched up a little bit, sometimes she was kind of rapping off beat, off key, and that kind of like it just didn't sit well with me on I feel like if she could have caught the beat better, then I think that would have made that verse or made that song a lot more, digestible. Sometimes it kind of messed up the how I consumed it just because she was off beat. And when we talk about a classic, if we're going to lift somebody up on a pedestal, we kind of got to give them this criticism, right? Because we see the Detroit rappers, we see guys like G Herbo, Blueface. We saw Silk the Shocker back in the day. Some rappers rap off beat. But when we talk about Meg Thee Stallion, when we talk about Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, when we talk about these elite level rappers, if Glorilla is trying to be one of them ones, then she got to get on beat. And if she just trying to be a chick from Memphis that made it and just doing her thing in the music industry and just, riding a certain trend, riding a certain coattail and just trying to make some good music, make some hits, I get it. But if she want to elevate, if she want to increase her status, then like you got to get on beat. Like, that shit is, to me, is no excuse for that. And then for the person that's doing the production, for the person that's in there with them, the engineer, like, sometimes you got to tell them to slow down or pick it up a little bit. Make sure that you say this word when that drum drops, when that, you know what I'm saying? It's just something about, like, being on beat that makes the song a lot more smoother. And when you're off beat, it just kind of makes it a little bit harder to hear it. And so that's really my main critique of the album. And she showed some introspectiveness. She showed a softer side, right? Glow's prayer, like that Kirk Franklin into Glow's prayer when she talked about loving a man and just not wanting to feel dumb and not just wanting to be hurt again. I really felt that. And I feel like that's a lot of women, a lot of young girls feeling like they want to love somebody, but it's hard for them to be vulnerable. So, they act a certain way, they do certain things because they trying to protect their heart, and it's hard for them, especially in this society when women have their own money, when women have their own say on what they want to do with their bodies, when women have that empowerment going on. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to be in love. And I think she showcased that vulnerability in that song. And cause she always talking about some player shit. She always talking about if he cheat, you cheat. If he do this, you do this. You get his friend. Whoop de woo. Like, but she showed like that's bullshit. She really just a girl that wants to be loved. And I can appreciate that. So shout out to Big Glow. Shout out to Gloria's Glorilla. And we gotta get to Big X the plug, Texas representative. Right. And to be honest, it ain't much to say about this album, to be honest, because what Big X did was kind of give you what he's always given you. And like the last project that I heard from him, this was kind of like that, on that same type of wavelength, right? Great southern sounding production, right? Because his beats got a little bit of that southern South, dirty South type of feel to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just has those qualities, right? Like a UGK, like that down South, like Texas. Like, it just kind of got that southern, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to describe it. Just that element of dirty South, hip hop or rap, whatever you want to call it. He gives you that. But he also gives you that same flow and that same cadence. So when he gives you that down South, dirty South production style on that same flow, same cadence, a lot of the music sounds redundant. It's a lot of monotony going on, right? When he gives you these type of, features in his music, right? Same production, similar, great samples. They sound great, but they sound damn near the same, just different samples. And he's flowing with the same cadence. So, like, if you just like that type of music and you just like how he's sounding, it's easy to listen to. It's digestible because it basically sounds like one big song, right? That's where I was critical on Gunna back in the past. I'm critical on a lot of guys that make albums that sound like one big song. And he's from Texas. I love my Texas boys. Dallas, Texas, to be exact. Right? He from Texas, but damn it. The same on same. What they say insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. And my only issue is this. And this is my issue with the D-Lo boss man. This is my issue with any rapper that sounds the same for a certain period of time. That shit gonna die out. That trend's gonna be over with. So if you're sounding the same on every damn song, on damn near every beat that you get on, and the beat sounds the same too, this shit only gonna last for so long, and then you only gonna get that 5 years. Cause after a while, people gonna want to hear more from you. And the thing is to like continue to further expand your fan base, you gotta give us some different flows. You gotta give us some different sounds. You gotta experiment. You gotta take risk. And I get it. You wanna be safe. You wanna be secure. You're doing interviews with Steve Stout. I get it. But I need more from my Texas boy than same on same. But one thing I did like about this album was the substance. He was a lot more introspective than I heard him talk about he had Wallow on there and Take Care. He was kind of getting in his therapeutic bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember Joe Budden was saying he didn't like Big Sean. He doesn't like some artists talking about therapy. Sometimes they don't execute it well. And Big X the Plug, he talked about therapy. He even gave us a song where it seemed like he was in a therapy session. And he stayed on brand, same flow, right? Same beat. And that those type of elements made for a great way for him to execute it, right? So I feel like from his introspectiveness, for his substance, I feel like I see growth in that. I see growth in the lyricism. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, when you given a substance, when you're able to tell those stories about yourself and still make them relatable and still make them feel good within the music, I feel like that's lyricism itself, because that's how you use words to your benefit in the music. So just keep on doing your thing. It's good music, right? I'm being critical, right? I'm being critical. It's good music, but I don't want to hear one big song, right? I want to hear artistry. I want to hear an album, right? So Big X, that's my only advice, or that's just my only criticism when it comes to Big X right now. I feel like he has the voice. He has the voice, and he can manipulate his voice and use different flows. Like, he has that Biggie, Gorilla Zoe. He has that deep voice. Like how Zero, DMX, Ja Rule, he has a deep voice. When you have the deep voice, that's all you need when it come to rapping, when it come to hip hop. Use that voice, use different flows, use different cadences, and try different beats. Still keep it southern. Big Crit showed you how to keep it southern, but still take the risk that need to be taken in order to deliver that artistry. Because when we think about artists and when they're painting on a canvas, they're taking a risk by painting certain things that they don't know how the audience may receive this, but in their heart they feel like this is the proper stroke, this is the proper landscape, this is the proper attention to detail, right? So with your ad libs, with your flows, with your hooks, with your beats, with your voice, use your voice as the instrument that it is. You from Texas, I gotta look out. And then we go to Rod Wave, right? This is going to be my last music take for today. We go to Rod Wave. It's right on brand. It's so silky smooth. It's pain, but it's rich pain, right? Like Meek Mill said, it's expensive pain because the quality of the music is so rich. It's so lathered, right? It's so luxurious, right? Because he's been doing this for a while now, and he's polished his sound even more. This sounds very polished. This sounds very introspective. This sounds very sad, very emotional. This sounds like he's freeing his mind of some of the things that sat on it. Like he's freeing his mind, like he's opening the cage that held him in on chains. I feel like Rod Wave is riding a wave like Johnny Tsunami. I feel like Rod Wave is creating a wave that others can jump on and have fun with. Surfs up. Because this Last Lap album, it sounds good. It sounds great. It sounds smooth. It sounds intelligent. It sounds like it was structured properly. The features go well with it. All the ingredients, everything that was put together to make this album sounds like the flavor was delivered like you want to make a chef's kiss. Mwah! So we gotta salute Rod Wave. But then again, what else do we expect out of Rod Wave? He's been consistent with the quality of the product that he puts out. And now we see why he does these type of shows. We see why he does these type of numbers. Right? Because everything, right? It's a sad song, but everything doesn't sound the same. He explores different sounds. He explores different frequencies. He explores different notes. He knows when they hit that, I know. And he knows when to just keep it mellow, right? He knows when to use his melodies and when to just cry just a little bit, right? He knows himself. And when you know yourself as an artist, when you know your strengths and weaknesses, then you can put together a body of work that's capturing both your strengths at a high level and some of your weaknesses, but showcasing your weaknesses into a point where they kind of slightly look like a strength. So I feel like Rod Wave, he really did his thing on this project. I like it. And to be honest, I didn't finish the whole thing. I'll be honest with y'all. So I might have more to say. But this is just me, my first run through. I'm not a big fan, but I can see why people love him. So salute Rod Wave, salute Big X the Plug, salute Glorilla. Shout out Lil Durk. You know, I love Durk music. It's just what it is, right? I've grown accustomed. I'm ready to hear that album. I saw SZA was saying something about mood because Kendrick's album is on the way. So I'm excited. And I'm glad if he's going to drop something soon, because if he does, I feel like this is going to be perfect for the Super Bowl, because we can really get into album mode, and then when we know he's going to do the performance, he can use one of those songs and we can really just vibe. And number one, Not Like Us has 21 weeks, I believe, that it's been number one on those Billboard charts, urban and hip hop, outlasting Lil Nas X, Hometown Road. So like I said, Not Like Us was a real hit. They tried to put the bots on it, you know what I'm saying, to discredit how big it became, how big it blew up. And that's why I feel like it's a disservice for j.cole to make a statement like that. But man, fuck it. I'm not going to talk about it no more. But it's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son. That's your kinfolk, William Jewell. Giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap.